I'm gonna talk about emotions in this video, but I'm gonna tie in a little something I was talking about in the previous video based on, like, you know, the Japanese beetle that I was mentioning and whatnot. But if you look at it, for example, on a bacterial level, you know, your aura is basically a cloud of bacteria. That's why people who see your aura, they'll say, oh, you have a dark aura, or you have a beautiful color, you have a beautiful aura. You know what I'm saying? Because if you look at the works of Judy K. King, basically you start to see the video that I linked in the description below in the previous video, and I'll link it in this one also. You'll start to see that you emit a frequency based on your mental state. You will have a certain aura, you know what I'm saying? Depending on where you're at. Where's your state of being at? Where's your mentalities at? You know what I'm saying? Where are you at? Determines what cloud you carry around you. You know what I'm saying? And these things will determine what comes into your space. What do you resonate with? You know what I'm saying? High vibrational things or lower vibrational things. There may be moments where you may fluctuate up and down, but there's a polarity matrix. When you look at polarity, you're basically, you look at a pole, whether it's vertical or horizontal. Okay? I mean, vertical or horizontal. Okay? You have bad and good, black and white. It doesn't matter. It's part of the same pole. You're basically the one that's neutralizing. You go left and right or stay in the middle, up and down. There is no directions, but your emotions, for example, are energy emotions. Energy moves, right? Energy must move. You know what I'm saying? If not, it becomes spoiled. It stays stagnant, right? So let's say, for example, you're in that pole. You're in the same pole, right? Same pole. Where are you navigating at? Based on your emotions. You see, a lot of people may experience a negative emotion. Let's say they were victim of fraud. Let's say, for example. How do you handle that situation? You know what I'm saying? And again, on my previous video, I mentioned that things happen to you based on what you would do. What would you do? Or are you being parasitic in other areas that manifested this to show you a mirror of things you're actually doing? You get what I'm saying? And it's not always going to be a direct reflection. It may be something that is completely indirect, but the same thing. You raise your right hand in front of the mirror, right? It looks like you're raising your left hand in the mirror. So it may not be a direct reflection, but in some aspects, one way, shape, or form, things happen to you because you may be doing the same thing, or you have the potential to do the same thing if you were in that position, right? So let's say, for example, somebody experiences fraud, right? Instead of, okay, either becoming proactive, right? Let's say, how did you pay? Did you pay with your card? You can call the bank. You can remain calm. You can say, okay, I'm gonna call the bank, report it, and I'm gonna get my money back. Or if you pay, let's say, with an Apple or Google Pay gift card, that money you'll never get back, right? But then you realize you got fucked. You really got You know what I'm saying? How do you handle that? You know what I'm saying? How do you handle that at that specific moment? Do you start to cry? Because I've seen this happen. They start to cry. They feel emotional, right? They start to blame things. First thing that happens, they start to blame, point fingers, right? But when you're doing that, first of all, not only are you giving your power away by pointing and complaining and pointing fingers and complaining, you're also, all right, no different than when you make a ritual, you're making the situation a lot more stronger when you start crying. When you physically shed a tear, you see, your tears is your essence, and it's connected to an emotion, because the reason you're crying is because you're building up such a strong emotion that it's creating the tear ducts to create tears for you to cry, right? When you are angry and you're in a fight, right? Stirred emotion, so fucking angry, and then all of a sudden now you get into a fight with somebody, you're both bleeding, right? You're spilling your essence to that specific situation and emotion, making it a lot more stronger, right? So when you're crying, you're literally no different than when you take a shot. If you make a ritual, the ritual is strengthened by you adding a drop of blood to it, right? So you strengthen your ritual. You added your DNA, your essence, okay? Your soul energy, you put it on that ritual, right? But you unknowingly do this when you start complaining and crying, and now you start to cry. You literally drop the tear, and that situation just got a lot stronger, rather than you handling it a different way. Yeah, I got, you know what I'm saying? Whatever. If you handle it in a different way and then sit back and realize, and I'm talking about, it's realization. This is very important. Realize that you would do the same exact thing, or you're doing the same exact thing, or you have a realization that you're toxic in certain areas of your life, okay? then you'll start to heal that certain situation. And you may manifest, the universe may return that money back to you as a reward for realizing that that happened to you for a motherfucking reason. You know what I'm saying? So when you do a ritual, okay, you expect a positive outcome, right? Why do you do magical rituals? Why do you do these things when you're doing it purposely? It's for a positive outcome to favor you, right? When you do an unfavorable ritual, when you're unconscious of it, but you become conscious of it because it's in the dark, you just shed light on something. Now it's going to return its favor to you in a light way. So that's why it's important. The consciousness and awareness is important for that reason. Consciousness is nothing but light. You know what I'm saying? You're in the dark about something. You start to shed light on your darkness, on your shadow aspects of yourself, okay? Now it's going to express itself in a positive way because you handled a negative situation in a positive way. So if you see a pole stick and you're in the negative side of things, you just transmuted yourself into a different area that you're not entertaining that wave. You know what I'm saying? You're not riding that wave. That's why they say that when you talk and gossip about people, believe it that somebody else is gossiping and talking about you. But when you see, don't do this in a hypocritical way just so that you don't want people to talk about you. But the reason that you would actually shift yourself from a situation where somebody is trying to gossip and talk and you say, nah, you know, you actually either change the topic or transmute the topic. Like somebody could say, man, today's a fucked up day. And you go, nah, today's a fucking beautiful day. And it could be raining, it could be stormy. I'm like, man, my plants are getting watered, but look how beautiful this sounds. You could actually just chill. It's just such a relaxing sound. Somebody may have been talking so bad about the day, but you transmuted that day by telling them the positive things about that day, right? So you didn't entertain that wave. You didn't ride that energy wave. So you changed yourself from that energy wave by transmuting it, right? But the reason you would change the topic or transmute the conversation from somebody trying to gossip about somebody is not just necessarily because you don't want to ride that wave, because you don't want somebody to talk about you. Is you realize if you really do the work within yourself to know that all this is really just an illusion, but you're also connected to all this is you really pushed out, but you genuinely have that realization, then you'll be like, man, I can't talk about that. That person's a version of me, man. I'm talking about a version of me. The only reason that this person is talking about that person is this person is showing me something about me by talking about that person. But the moment that I start to judge that, I just strengthen that situation within myself. You get what I'm saying? Rather than transmuting that. Because again, when you don't feed parasites, they die or they go somewhere else, right? So you have a garden. Protect your garden. Protect your mentalities. You get what I'm saying? Now that's the important reason why emotions are important. You see, even through sexual acts, okay? Women, for example, are a little bit more emotional than men when it comes to the sexual part of it because they represent more the attractive part of things, the moon. The men are more of a like direct energy, like the sun. You know what I'm saying? They are more of a push out energy, right? But when you can make a chemistry, right, and you create a child, okay, this child could ruin your life or change the world. You know what I'm saying? That's why when you want to see change on the planet, it starts from you. It doesn't matter. And when you look at the government, and I'm going to quickly talk about this before I shut down. The government, for example, okay, is nothing but a reflection of you. How would you handle the situation if you were in power? You get what I'm saying? This is why it's important to understand what is the government in your body. If you really want to know what the government in your body is, and you can look at the works of Dr. Robert Morse, okay? And I made some very, very deep studies on this topic, but I am also working on many projects that have a lot to do with this area. But the government is basically your adrenal glands, okay? Because if you really want to look at it, your adrenals produce steroids, and they also help you during situations of stress or emergency, fight or flight, right? Now, not only are we physically tired because our mentalities are drained based on how the system is created and us not properly breathing, not eating the right foods, we have to borrow energy from stimulants, right? So our adrenals get fatigued. The adrenals, if you really want to know, they're also different areas of the adrenals. It's also connected to your kidneys, okay? They're responsible for your hormones. They're responsible for your moods, okay? They're responsible for how you process certain chemicals in your body. See, I'll make a separate video on the kidneys and the adrenals and how that ties into your gut and your emotions and your brain in general, because it's all even connected to your pituitary gland, okay? Which is responsible for growth hormone, repair, recovery, right? So think about this though. How do you manage this government within you? Okay? And if you're tired, do you just go and consume stimulants from the system? Or do you create it from your own environment using your own tools? You know what I'm saying? Do you use the elixirs from your body, this is really big pharma. You know what I'm saying? Okay? The head in a God body. So if you cannot handle or take care of this God body, this soil, this earth, why do you think people reincarnate? You think that you ignorantly taking care of this body doesn't create karma? It's not karma where you want to think of it from a religious standpoint. It's just cause and effect. That's why I'm so big on the nutrition part of things. That's why I'm so big on, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, look, people talk about, well, why, you talked about not eating meat and then you say you could eat meat and then you don't eat meat. See, I made a video called Redefine the Meaning of Everything in Your Life, okay? You get to certain levels, okay? Now, you may think I'm talking about one thing now and then another thing tomorrow, okay? This is where you start to ask yourself, is he talking about something else? Or am I just experiencing deja vu? Because here's the thing though, everything in life could be looked at one way and then you'll see it another way and then you'll be like, God damn, I thought he said this. Did I always really say that? Or did you just experience deja vu? You get what I'm saying? I don't change anything that I'm saying throughout my videos. You know what I'm saying? But I did clearly say, redefine the meaning of everything in your life. Okay? There's a time and a place for everything. See, I don't have a problem with people who eat meat. It's just that people don't know how to eat meat. And if I'm going to eat meat, okay, have an understanding, and it doesn't matter if it's fish or chicken. It takes 2 to 3 days for it to fully go through your system. So this system, okay, was created in the image of man. That's why if you look at this government, understand this government by understanding how your government works in your system. Because you're full of systems. This is full of systems out here. The government system, the education system, the religious system. But if I was to ask somebody, can you tell me a little bit about your lymphatic system? Can you tell me a little bit about your skeletal system, endocrine system, neurological systems, circulatory system, endocrine system, right? All these systems, just one system. Tell me in detail about it. And the majority cannot tell you, but why is that? And they're waking up and sleeping and living with these systems from the moment they're born until the moment they die. They have no understanding of these systems, only the illusionary system. So if we talk about cause and effect, and you have no understanding about the systems that you sleep and live with every day, how could you understand the system outside? What are you looking for outside? If everything outside was created in your image. See, they talk about God, okay? Man was created in the image of God, right? You're God. But the system was created in the image of you because it all starts from you first. So think about it. Learn how computers work. I made videos on man and the machine, the computers and humans. You look at, the world through the computer, through goggles, Google, right? You type through a motherboard. We actually have downloads by grounding our energy to Mother Earth. Look at the works of Dr. Robert Morse. There's only 2 sides of chemistry. Start connecting what you already know to things that you hear outside, because people are only helping you remember things. And remembering is not what you think. It's not just, I remember what I did yesterday. No, it's like a resonance. I just realized something, man. And it resonates with you on a soul level. You feel your soul vibrating. You feel your spirit waking up. That's remembering. Remember. You're aligning your bodies. They're all in harmony. Okay? Harmony. But then again, how are your hormone levels? How is your endocrine system working? How are all these things connected? How are your adrenals working? You know what I'm saying? So if you have a little understanding as to how these systems work, you'll have a very deep understanding and even have a better communication with nature. Where, Brother Panic talks about talking to a tree, right? Don't you have to be in tune with the tree? I would have to be really in tune with the tree. But then, somebody says, well, the mind is all, the universe is mental, right? Well, I mean, if it's in your mind, okay, and you have a nagging body or you have a body that's not aligned or in harmony, go try to do that, right? It doesn't become a passion of yours. It will never resonate because you didn't start it from a spiritual level first. See, the ego wants to advance in life, so it wants to sit. Well, Not that the ego wants to advance in life, but the ego will try to keep you satisfied by, you heard a video, a topic, it sounded good, you want to practice the same things that you heard, but they're not really working for you. And it's not like it won't work. You just don't understand or know how to process what is actually happening. And that's what I'm realizing. You have to understand what you see. When you eat food, your body utilizes the food you're eating as information, but a lot of people eat dead food. So their body feels dead. Their body starts to scream for nutrients because you're not giving it the right nutrients, right? So if you're eating dead meat or dead flesh, for what is the purpose of eating that dead flesh? You know what I'm saying? So redefine the meaning of everything in your life. I hope this video made sense, but this is why I wanted to talk about the emotional part, because when the animal dies, for example, the same way you create hormones and elixirs in your body when you're under stress or fear, and if you was to die that way, it gets released into the bloodstream, and that's where it stays in the muscles. These animals, when they get slaughtered, butchered, killed, tortured, whatever it may be, don't forget these hormones, these elixirs are all in the bloodstream. You eat that, right? Your body has to process that. But if you don't have a connection between the gut and your brain, you won't know what the hell's going on. You'll just feel these emotions and you'll just blame your external environment and not sit down and realize that when you clear your house, you can start to have clearer mentalities. You'll start to have better realizations. You know what I'm saying? So work on understanding the systems, the microbiome. You see, the microbiome is nothing but workers in your company. You're the CEO. So there's acids, alkaline. You need to know what you need to put more acids, more alkaline in. See, if I'm stressed out, I'm not going to create fucking bad chemicals in my body. I'm going to create the harmonious chemicals so that I can change my reality. Because this is only mental, right? The universe is mental, but the mind is all. So I have to make up my mind. Where's my mind set at? And if my mind is set on an improper setting, then I'm going to know by what is it that I'm actually manifesting in my life. So video's going to cut off. I'll talk more on other videos, but we'll talk soon.